Good afternoon to all of you. I think there was a very good presentation by both gentlemen, Mr. Ng and also our accounting friend. It's so interesting. I'm also an accountant, also ex-Ernst & Young, and it's good to hear all this very valuable information from the two esteemed gentlemen teaching you how to get money from the government, which is very important. All of us should know the full extent of what we need to get money from the government. That's very important for all of us. Now, a little bit of information about myself. My name is Casey. I left EY and Ernst & Young, and I went and worked as a finance director. And I started my own company in 1984, which is 36 years ago, in the area of consulting, in the area of training, as well as coaching for businesses. And I have now my office in Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and China. Now, I have trained and mentored close to 120,000 people from 22 different countries on various areas. Now, most of my work are mostly corporate initially. So I do a lot of work for MNCs, major companies in China, in Vietnam, in Indonesia, and most of the countries in the region. But my passion is actually working with SME, because business owners are a lot more fun to work with. It's a lot faster. Multinationals take time and takes a bit of work. So I've also two very well-known programs which I launched 20 years ago. One is called the Money Mastery Mentorship Program, and the other one is called the Certified Professional Trainers Program. And this is a book I've written, launched last year. And this is a book that I wrote based on a number of monthly articles that I wrote for the SME and Entrepreneurship magazine, which I've been writing for them for a while. So I took all those monthly articles and I turned it into a book, okay? All right, I just want to share something a little bit more. I run my business from 1984. And by 1994, I was tired, I was burnt out, and I was working very hard. You know, business also means busyness, you know. But fortunately, in 94, I have a mentor. I met somebody who wanted somebody to help him in Malaysia and Singapore to promote his seminar. At that time, he's not known, he was not famous because he hasn't written this book. His name is Robert Kiyosaki. He only wrote this book in 97. I met him in 94, and I kind of decided that I want to learn from him. So I follow him around and become his tuti. In Chinese, we say tuti. So I kind of find out a lot I learned. And what he taught me about money, wealth, and business changed the way I run business. And eventually, when he wrote the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, if you go to the book and if you turn to the acknowledgement page, you can find my name there. Now, if I run a class, I will ask people to say, wow, but never mind. This is just a quick intro as to my way of thinking. So I have been very much impacted by mentors and people. And after that, I started doing a lot of coaching for SMEs and a lot of mentoring for SMEs and business owners. Now, today, what I want to talk about is business continuity. Now, what does business continuity mean? It means maintaining a business function or quickly resuming them in the event of a major disruption. Now, we are at a major disruption. COVID-19 is a huge disruption. Some of you have never experienced anything like that before, all right? Some of you have not even experienced a recession before. Now, I started my business in 1984. I went through two recessions. In 84, was very bad. And I also went through one in 97. In 97, I have 80 overstaffed. And overnight, I have multiple businesses. So overnight, my revenue dropped like crazy. And I have to immediately do things to shrink things, you know, to really shrink the business. And I can tell you what happened. I nearly went down, but fortunately I survived. And I shrink my staff from 89 staff to 5 staff, you know. And it's a painful process, but you have to do it. So I call it live to fight another day. Something I always tell my SME and business owner this last few weeks, you know. We have to do something, you know. Now, the question is what we're going to do. Now, in major companies, in big companies, they have something called business continuity planning. In telcos, in oil and gas, they have a department or division or some people assigned to do business continuity planning in anticipation of any form of crisis. I'm sure as SME, you probably wouldn't have done any of that, because if you have done any of that, you probably won't be here. Yeah? So in reality, we are not even planning that yet. We are actually in a crisis. For some of you, it's a crisis management mode. Yeah? All right. So how do I see this thing right now for many of you? Now, you can tell me where you are right now. Some of you are in what I call crisis management. That means You suddenly see all these problems, your revenue gets to zero, your staff is there, and you can't operate, your factory cannot operate, nobody can go to the factory, blah, blah, blah. And you are in a crisis, and you are, you don't quite know what to do, and you're lost because of maybe you don't have such experience. And if you talk to your fellow business owner, everybody is saying the same thing. All they do is, moan and groan and probably make a lot of complaints. And that's not wrong. That's how people react to a crisis. Now, some of you went past the initial state, and I think it's more in our mindset than thing. I mean, we have difficulty. And then we go to what I call survival management. So some of you are now looking at, how am I going to survive? How am I going to last the next 3 months? How am I going to keep my staff, or I don't keep my staff? What about my revenue? What can I do? And if you're a restaurant, you're a travel agent, you're a factory, wow, you're in a real difficult situation, especially if you're non-essential area. So you discover that the government is giving you money. Wow. So you quickly went into this, and you went into all this information, which you need to, and you should, by the way. And those information given by the two other gentlemen was very useful. And I would strongly suggest that you get all the information and make sure you apply for everything, get all the money you can, and so that you can prolong your survival. But let's be honest, the government is not going to support you forever, right? It's not going to support you forever. So you got to do more than just survival, obviously, right? I mean, at most, whatever the government can help you can last you for another 2-3 months, unless you have deep pockets and you have huge financial resources. That's different. So you won't need to be here if you are in that situation. But to moan and to groan and to complain and try to get more government is no use. Why? Because we can't really do something about what we cannot control. We cannot control these things. We cannot control. The government decides, and we hope for the best, and we maybe lobby our representative in associations and all that to do more. But at the end of the day, there's nothing much we can do. I want to suggest that you move to the next stage, and that you should start planning for your business continuity. You need to get to this state, because it's not going to be just the next MCO. It's not just going to be the next few weeks. And the rumor of whether MCO is going to be extended, I tell you one thing, I don't care. I mean, if it's extended or not extended, I'm going to run my business anyhow. I do not want to be in a state where I cannot do things because of things I cannot control. I want to do things that I can control. And all of you are business owners. You are leaders. You know what you need to do with your business. And I want to suggest to you, I'm going to share with you some ideas on how you can move to this state beyond just getting money from the government. But I also want to be very positive. And I want to suggest that if you get past this stage, and hopefully not too long, next 6 months, maybe 12 months, maybe longer, and bear in mind, there is no doubt that we are definitely going into a global recession. Let me say this again. There is no doubt that we are going into a global recession. Millions are losing their job in the US. Our own research center, the Malaysian Institute of Economic Research, has already predicted that 2.5 million Malaysians are going to lose a job. So how is that going to impact your business? You can't run away from that. It will impact your business. So don't think that this is going to last a few months and that you'll be okay after that. I want to say to you that it's not going to be the same. But if you are able to get past that part and continue with your business, you will recover. And very excitingly to me, Chinese always say the word crisis have 2 words. One word is danger, and the other one opportunity. Once you get past the danger, I want to suggest to you there are tremendous amount of opportunity out there, because the weaker company will all fold. What I can predict for you is this: right after all this thing is over, there are going to be a lot of mergers and acquisitions. They got a lot of restructuring in the industry, and out of that, you could win. But the important thing is to get past this first. The important thing is to ensure business continuity, to recover, transform. The thing is, it's going to be permanent. So you're going to transform your business into a new era, and you may end up better than even now. I want to suggest that. I want to be positive. I don't want people to just be negative about things. So there are 3 kinds of reaction right now you're in. You're in a crisis situation and you don't quite know what to do. I hope you're not in that stage now. You have passed that. It's already 3 over weeks already. So in the first 2 weeks, maybe you're in a crisis, you're complaining, maybe it's okay, it's human nature. Now you're probably at this stage, how to survive. How am I going to do this? What am I going to do? And as mentioned by the two gentlemen, all those money, let's go and get it. And I think you should have full knowledge and must know how to apply and get all this money. But I want to be very clear. Government money is not going to last forever. You have to do something about your business. You have to move into business continuity. You have to roll up your sleeve and ask yourself, what are you going to do to ensure your business continue after this? And bear in mind, the market is going to be different. It's not going to be the same again. Now, if you only rely on survival state, you only rely, I want to survive, if you only depend on just government helping you, which is fine, you're going to be like a drug addict, you know. You can't be addicted to others, and you know that's not going to keep on coming. There's a limit to how much money the government can give you. 250 billion divided by a population is 7,000 ringgit per person. It's not going to be there. It's not going to be sufficient. So you got to think beyond that. All right. Now I want to share with you my experience because I don't want to talk theory. I want to tell you my experience. Fortunately, I've been around for a long time. And when this was announced on the 16th that office is not going to operate, I am in a crisis mode, just like anybody else. But I go past that very fast because of experience, and I quickly move into a survival mode. I say to myself, I'm going to make sure that my business continue. What do I need to do? So I call up, I tell all my managers, I have 49 staff, which is still substantial payroll to pay. And I say to them, look, we need to have a meeting tomorrow. So our meeting started at 10:30 and it lasted at about 12:31 and about 2.5 hours. By the time we finished that meeting, that senior management meeting, which we responded very fast, we got a number of things done. Now I want to show you the whiteboard. This is the actual whiteboard of my company, my office, and what was done. And there was a lot of work done during that 2.5 hours. What did we do? We talk about a few things. Very importantly, I started re-strategizing the company. Now, please bear in mind, mine is a consulting. We are a training company. We do a lot of corporate consulting and training work for companies. So my revenue is going to drop down to zero. I know that's going to be the case. Nobody's going to run events. Nobody's going to run seminars. Nobody's going to want to meet me. So my business is going to drop down to zero. So I have to immediately re-strategize the company. I don't want to wait. I don't want to stay in a crisis mode. I want to go into survival mode quickly and move into continuity. So I re-strategized the company, not by myself, but to my team. And then I started looking at what's the critical priority. What are the priority things that we need to do? What are some of the things that we need to give up straight away? And then I look at revenue. Where's our revenue going to come from? What are the possible revenue that we need to look into? And then I look at staff redeployment. Now, staff represent a major part of my cost other than rental. So I need to do something about it. I mean, obviously, the company cash flow is not going to be able to sustain a pay where all the staff is working from home. And the question is, can we make them productive? How do we get them to be productive? And then we started thinking about how do we do the work from home rules? Now, bear in mind, my company has nobody working from home. We are not so advanced. And suddenly we have to switch from a normal office to working from home. And I believe, and my senior people all believe that we can do this. So we can get productivity even though our staff work from home. Now I'm a bit more fortunate. I'm not a factory. Factory is going to be difficult when you have people working in a factory. They can't go to work. How are they going to work from home? They can't be done. So there are certain situations which I know is more difficult, but that's what I want to share with you. So we started communicating at 4:30. We have a town hall meeting. And then we asked everybody to assemble and we started going through, number one, the situation, because they need to know, they don't want to be lost. And I tell them the work from home requirements and as well as tell them what the job requirements are. So this is all done at 4:30 because we plan everything from 1:30 to 4:30. Although I did take my managers out for a nice lunch because, you know, we're not going to have a good lunch after that. And then at 5 o'clock, all my managers have separate meeting with the teams to inform them what they're going to do. All right. So this is what we did. So what did we achieve? Now, this is our first management meeting. I have very young people with me. And this was done 2 days after that. We all go into Zoom meeting. Now, bear in mind, we never used Zoom meeting before. Not never. I mean, we don't use Zoom meeting for our management meeting, but this is the first time. And we quickly transform, quickly change. And what did we achieve? Number one, we have a team. And they decided to call themselves a warrior team. Why? Because we know we're going to war. So I gathered them together. And we have a plan. The plan is not perfect, it's not complete, but there's a plan for us to move forward. How are we going to recover? How are we going to do this? when this thing happened to us. But more importantly is we have a determination to carry this through. My team are very determined that you say, boss, we're going to get that thing through. And that's the most precious thing I have. I have a team of managers, a team of my people. Not all of them are managers, by the way. I just choose those that I know will run with me. And that's very, very important asset. So this is my first staff meeting. We did that on the 30th because there was an announcement that MCO will continue. So we called a meeting and all 49 staff attended. Some of them are still smiling. I don't know why. And we tell them what's going to happen, what's the extension, who's going to be on annual leave, who's going to be on half pay, who's going to be. We work out all that. And all the staff have worked out a certain agreement on that. So my experience taught me to act fast, to work into this and not sit there and do nothing. So my first rule to all of you, those of you who want to get some ideas from me, is put your people first. You need to take care of that first. That's the first thing you need to look into the moment this happens. And it's not too late. You can still do that. Now, I want to let you know why you need to do that, because for your business to continue, your essential people need to be with you. And I use the word essential, meaning perhaps there are some people not essential. Now, that's a difficult decision, but you have to make that decision. Should you have to shrink cost? Now, I have the experience of shrinking 89 staff down to 5. So, well, if you need help, I can help you do that. So I have these 5 steps. And I want to, very importantly, get to a few points. You're going to provide leadership. You're going to involve the team. Now, if your style of management is not involving your team, and unfortunately, a lot of business owners, everything is inside the head. And you manage people by looking over the shoulder, but now you can't. They're all over the place. But you need to provide the leadership. You have to change your style a bit. And you have to create confidence. You have to show love and care. I know that sounds funny, but please understand this. It's your business. It's your money. It's your work. You must understand your team member, your staff, they have personal issues. I have one staff whose father is in the hospital, and a manager, by the way, and she has to go to the hospital, and I have to make sure she protects herself. So you got to care about their own personal issues. It's just not your business only that you should be concerned about. I have a partner who actually was in quarantine with a daughter for a few days, and I have staff that has to wait 22 hours every time they're going to buy groceries. So we have issue you need to take care of. But very important, as your business owner, you got to provide clear, consistent direction. And you may have to restructure the company quickly, set up teams to know who do what, lead from the front. I was told that my time has been shrunk because of whatever. So you must know who will follow, who will not follow. Now, here's a very important point. You have 100% of your staff, but not all of them will follow you. Expect 20% of them to complain, to make a lot of noise, threaten to report to the labor office. I will say this to you, don't worry about that. Focus on your core team. Focus on those people that will follow you and they will work with you to carry this through. Those that don't, you can work with them later. You can get a good HR person to help you to sort it out. But don't worry about that. Focus on the strength. Focus on what you have. Don't care about those who are not with you, and keep encouraging them. So once you have the warrior team, you can move forward. I have lots of information on this, but this half an hour does not allow me. My normal time is 1.5 hours. So I have a lot more information, how to. These are all practical things that I do. And I want to share with you 5 strategies. These are the 5 strategies that I now working with a lot of my clients, a lot of the businesses that I coach, what to do in this period, how to re-strategize the business direction, how to prioritize the critical factors, and very importantly, to do resource reallocation. And there are 2 parts here. One is staff redeployment and transferring your revenue to online and to offsite revenue straight away. Very important is remote work implementation and cash flow management, which is, of course, one of the most critical areas. Now, I want to say this to you. Sun Tzu Art of War say, tactic without strategy is noise before defeat. What I saw happening is a lot of people, because it's crisis area and survival situation, survival instinct, they jump into tactics. They jump into I had people signing up for online marketing courses, which is good. You should do that, but you should have done that a lot earlier. You want to go for a course now and try to implement it in your company right now? Well, too little, too late, my friend. You should have done that a lot earlier. Now, if you haven't, there are still ways to do it. How you do your transformation quickly. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting you don't sign up for courses. You should. But I'm saying those are tactics. Getting government help is important, but is it still tactics? What is important is to re-strategize your business, because anything else is just noise before your defeat. If you have not taken your business, look at it with your team and re-strategize the direction for the future. Understand this, huh? We are talking about the future, huh? And strategy is long-term, and the battle for community is long-term. And I want to emphasize that life is not going to be the same again. Your life will never be the same again. And your business too. If you think you're going to go back to normal, you must be dreaming. It's not going to be normal for you, my friend. It's not going to be normal for me. And logistic too. Sorry, it's a mistake. And hotels and restaurants and factories. So you have to start thinking, what am I going to do with my business to re-strategize? Now, I do a lot of strategic work, if you don't mind me mentioning. Many of people don't know that I'm one of the most sought after strategic consultants in this part of the world. I mean, I say that as if I'm boasting. I'm not. I do a lot of strategic in China. I do strategic work in China. I work with DB Schenker, one of the largest logistic company, and I do strategic work with the CEO. She was a German. I not only help them with the strategic work, I also do work on their sales and sales management. I also was a strategic consultant for Daimler, one of their CEO. There are a few in China. When they do their annual strategic work, they call me to fly all the way to Beijing, and I will spend days with him and his team to work out the strategy. Now, this is a Malaysian, you should be proud of that. This is a Malaysian doing strategic work for two of the major companies in China, MNC. And I don't mind telling you this, Daimler pays me $900 per hour to help them. Now, I also do work for Intel in Penang. When they go through a difficult time, transformation, I do transformation leadership work with them. I've done work for Konecranes for many years, and I recently did some strategic work for Idoco, a subsidiary of Yasata. I have been a strategic consultant for Borneo for 19 years. I do all the strategic planning work for 19 years, not every year, but alternative years. I work with the Tucker, Mr. Chang, and now I'm working with the son. I also do a lot of work for Technip on the strategy area. I'm only mentioning my strategic clients. And recently, I also do for Majestic. Dato Casey Lee and help his company strategize. Of course, now we have to re-strategize because things have changed. So what does re-strategizing company direction involves? Number one, you have to have a team. You can't do it by yourself inside your head. Now, if you're a micro company, okay, fair enough. I mean, you have only you and a couple of people, but you still need to talk to them. You need to determine what you need to change. Market change, environment change, you have to change. Your business have to change. Listen, don't think it's going to be only for the next few weeks. It's not. Strategic priority will be influenced by cash flow, right? Likely. And you have to decide what area of business you're going to reduce, what area of business you're going to shrink. If there's one arm you have that is rotten, you have to cut it off. I know it's difficult. I know it's painful, but you have to go through that. And you need to know which part of the body you have to cut off though. But interestingly, there will also be some other parts that you want to grow. There may be some part of business that you want to put more resources, more time on. And there will be departments and functions that is no longer relevant. You've got to reduce it, remove it. So you've got to do surgery in your company if you are reaching a state. If you are financially well taken care of, that's fine. But that doesn't mean you don't do this. Even if you don't have cash flow issue, you still need to do this because the market has changed. Huh? So the next thing I would suggest you do is to prioritize the critical factors. There are immediate things you need to look into, such as you need to look at your staff redeployment, your cash flow management, your revenue transformation, your clients and customer creditors communication. Now you need to keep on communicating with your clients because you still want your collection to come in. You want to do it business as usual, even though it's not usual. You have to get that money flowing in. Essential functions, continuity, suppliers, renegotiation, all of that. I'm sorry, I'm running this very quickly. I'm trying to turn an hour-and-a-half seminar into a half an hour. And there are two parts in deployment. This is probably the most important part for those of you who have staff. Now, this is an exercise I would suggest that you do with your team, your HR people. Number one, divide your staff into contract staff and permanent staff. Why? Because contract staff have different way of handling them. For removing them is different. Permanent staff is a bit more challenging. So there are certain ways of doing it. So you divide your staff into permanent and contract. Also divide them into above 4,000 and below 4,000 for reasons I think you already know. Also now start thinking of who are the essential, who are not essential for my future. Now you can't do this part if you have not re-strategized your company. If your strategy is not clear, you have not re-strategized, you don't know what is essential, what is not essential. So you have to do the first part first. Tactics without strategy is noise before defeat. So there are some which is essential but not fully. There are some which is transferable to other function. All right. Now I have a lot of case study to share with you because over the last few weeks, a lot of my business owner clients have been calling me. I've been coaching them online almost every other day. So I have lots and lots of examples of things that I have worked with them and how they can quickly do something about the business. Time does not permit me, but if you ask me a question later on, I will share with you. So what you do is, this is invented by me, it's called staff redeployment metrics. So you put all your staff names into this box, into all this diagram in your, that's what we did in our whiteboard earlier. So you have people who are essential but contracted, people are non-essential but are contracted, people that are permanent, they are essential, and people that are permanent but not essential. So you put all the names up there, and some you put percentage because you know they're essential but not fully. And once you have done that, you can decide what you're going to do. Essential contracted, you may want to maintain, renegotiate terms. And then for those who are essential but they're permanent, so that's okay, maintain, renegotiate term maybe. And I want to say this to you: can you renegotiate terms with your staff? Yes, if they understand something. If you have been what you are and you're a good leader and they trust you, they know that they have to support the company, because 2.5 million people are going to be unemployed. If they leave you, they can't get a job. It'll be difficult to get a job. So they will support you, but you have to be fair to them. I do a lot of deferment. You know what's deferment? That means I don't reduce pay. I say, okay, I can only pay you 50%. The other 50%, I'll pay you 3 months, 4 months. And they're okay about it. I have a great team. So you can do that too. Now, the one that is permanent or essential is the one that is challenging. Either you get them to take unpaid leave, annual leave, and you may even have to retrench them. But make sure you follow the law. Make sure you don't get into trouble, all right? For those that are contracted and non-essential, that's easy. You just terminate them or renegotiate terms. Now, one very important thing with your staff, yes?
Cassie, you have 1 more minute to conclude. I'm so sorry. Because later on, we will open for Q&A session. We have a lot of questions coming in fact. So
for the implementation part, a lot of my clients ask me how. So last 2-3 weeks, I immediately set up the whole business toolkit. In other words, I set up more than 50 documents, worksheet, templates, checklists for my clients they can have a toolkit that they can immediately use and immediately implement, because speed is the issue. So I have it in Bahasa, I have it in Chinese, I have it in English, all right? So the other 2 factors, one is online and offsite revenue, which I don't have time to go through. And this is a joke that people say, and I was going to share with you a case study how I turned a swimming school online. Very important is remote work, and you have to implement certain rules that I have given. I have a whole structure of how to get people working from home. I want to tell you something honestly. My staff work a lot harder now than before. Some of them, I have one staff, not even a manager, exactly, work until 3 a.m. So it can be done. The most important part is cash flow management. I got a few more things to say to you. The most important part is cash flow management, which I won't cover because of time. So I want to say this to you: you can turn a crisis into opportunity. The Chinese saying is not a joke. There are wisdom in it, and you got to look at the opportunity. As you get used to living differently, choosing things differently, behaving differently, but please understand, this change is going to be the new norm. Your life is not going to be the same. Your business is going to be the same. The market is not going to be the same. So you have to plan for recovery beyond that. So once you go past continuity, don't think it won't happen again. You have to make some permanent change and then transform your company and go for the opportunities. Question is, how else can I help you? So I have a lot of experts. These are 2 business continuity planning experts. One is Faik. He has 40 years experience. And if you look down his data, he has actually helped Petronas, post-Malaysia, Petronas on business continuity. Victor is Singaporean, and he do a lot of BCP and BCM work. Final point, Jack Welch says, if the rate of change on the outside is faster than the rate of change on the inside, the end is near. I hope you are changing your company fast enough. If not, the end is near. So what are you going to do about it? So final point, it's not what happened to you that determines your future. Please understand this. Whatever happened to your business happened to everybody. It's not you. So don't think you are the only one that this thing happened. It happened to everybody. The issue is not what happened to you. The issue is how you respond to what happened to you. 99% of people are running left. They're running in one direction. You need to run the other direction. Question, it's not what happened to you. It's how you respond to what happened to you. Question is, how are you going to respond? Give up? Want to wait some more? Or take action? I suggest you take action. So thank you very much. And if you are interested, I will do a full seminar sometime later. And I think I will do this together with Money Compass. And I believe that Amy will tell you more about this. Thank you, Amy.